Cornyn.
Congratulations to both of you and your families on your nomination. Mr. Metzger, you and I haven't had a chance to work directly together, but if Senator Rounds vouches for you, that's good enough for me.
Thank you,
Mr.
Senator.
Simmons, we had a more extended conversation, which I enjoyed very much in my office. But, and we talked about how lawyers in the intelligence community determine what the law is and how different that is than the typical lawyer in private practice who's got statutes, constitution, case law, and are able to basically get a pretty good idea of what the law is, although lawyers are famous for being able to argue both sides of a legal issue, so and not agree. But one statute that is in the law is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, Section 702. And you're familiar with the importance of that particular provision and the foreign intelligence that allows the U.S. government to glean. And I believe the figure is that about 60% of the president's daily brief is a product of that section of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You also know that we fairly recently reformed the law and dealt with concerns, legitimate concerns, about abuses and privacy concerns, which we are obviously concerned with as well. But do you support the reauthorization of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act as it is currently written?
Thank you, Senator. And I enjoyed meeting with you as well. Yes, I do support reauthorization. I think Director Radcliffe said it well when he spoke here, that it is an indispensable national security tool. I've seen at the State Department as well, in addition to the statistic you gave about the president's daily brief, that information derived from Section 702 provides critical insights for a wide range of U.S. foreign policy and national security issues on a daily basis.
Well, again, in our conversation in my office, we were sort of commiserating about, again, how different the role of a lawyer is in the intelligence community than in private practice, where you do have a lot more that you can refer to and in terms of the statutes and case law and the like. But basically, as a lawyer in the intelligence community, you have limited tools. You have the Constitution, you have executive orders, you have statutes like the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, but many times there is no clear legal answer. And I appreciate the chairman's line of inquiry. Recently, I was reading a book by Dan Wang called Breakneck, who compared China and America. And he said the problem in America is we have lawyers running the government. In China, they're all engineers, and they know how to build things. And lawyers are famous for saying no and creating obstacles to getting to a solution or an outcome. But let me just ask you again, do you view it as your job to advise the policymakers on how they can achieve their objectives legally, as opposed to just saying, no, you can't do that? Do you try to help them? Do you try to help to get to yes by saying you can do it in this way, but not that way?
Thank you, Senator. That is a good summary of my approach. I think, as you said, the starting point is going to be the text of the Constitution, of the relevant statute or the executive order. But then it's critical to understand the objective of the policymaker. And then the question becomes, what is the authorization for that, and what is the path forward that complies with the law? And I think it is challenging because there's not case law, but it does take careful, thoughtful lawyering to analyze that legal basis and provide counsel on how to proceed toward an objective in a way that complies with the law.
And I told you that I was a fan of General Hayden's book called Playing to the Edge, because I don't want the intelligence community to be risk averse or worried about their legal their exposure, for example. I want to be able to let them operate within the law, but to the extent the law permits them to engage in operations that are in the national security interests of the United States, I want them to do it without fear that they are stepping over the line or engaging in or exposing themselves to liability of some kind. Do you agree that part of your job is going to be to define where that line is to the extent possible so that the operators, the policymakers, can operate within the law, but up to where the law, make sure it's within the law, but within to the maximum the law permits?
Thank you, Senator. I do agree with that.
Thank you.
Senator Wyden.